but the markets that are to be regulated, transactions that are to be regulated, etc., are global. Now, we don't have a global government. EU doesn't have a European government, so they can't coordinate on the fiscal side, while the ECB can initiate the common policy on the monetary sector, and that applies in a multiplied way in a global context. And so all this notion about coordinated stimulus, coordinated this, that and the other, without recognizing that these things have to be done nationally, and it's not simple to design a regulatory system which is national, but which is coordinated globally. At best, if you improve IMF by giving it an authorization, first of all, giving it analytical human capability to do a proper analysis, and then give it resources and capability to intervene in markets, etc. That might be one way of a global system to go, but I don't think that's the way things will be managed. They may give you a little bit more money to the IMF, then that is all tangled up with the IMF voting structure, governance structure, etc. So I don't see that happening. So I will stop at that. Since I see light at the end of this tunnel in the US, I hope this crisis blows over and doesn't leave a residue of hastily implemented, ill-thought-out reforms.
Would you like to take a few questions?
Yes.
Just with the global crisis,
yes.
Through the subprime crisis,
yes.
I could say support, agree with what you said. In fact, I've covered something myself this time. But what really is the case is that governments, and particularly the US government by default or various other ways, caused the crisis through Freddie and Fannie and a whole range of other policies which you've mentioned. And yet we're hearing from Obama and similar people that the way out of the crisis is not getting governments out of the picture which caused the problem, but rather giving a much greater role to government, in fact having a global government that regulates everything that moves.
Yes.
So how is it possible that a system
caused
by excessive government, excessive bad regulation is going to be solved by having more regulation and massive deficits taxes eventually?
You have to separate two things in my one is because of no fault of their own, many people have been hurt by the financial crisis. And if the economy doesn't revive soon enough, these people are going to be in very dire situation longer. And so, regardless of what the previous government did, rightly or wrongly or whatever, the crisis has to be addressed, and the only the pocket that is big enough to generate the resources needed to address the current situation is the government. So I don't see a way out of government not acting aggressively in this situation. But what I do say is what I did say also, that in moving from the crisis to reforming the system, now which way you should go is what should be the regulatory change, what should be the things that you need to address in the market have to be thought through carefully. I don't believe in the completely unregulated markets. There never was, and the market system has always been, for its functioning, implicitly or explicitly has the institutional underpinnings of a fundamental character, right from the enforcement of contracts and law and order to you name it, any number of things, preventing fraudulent behavior, etc. That underpinning has to be there. And now whether the regulations that you're going to think about is addressing some of the regulatory weaknesses that have been revealed by the crisis, or whether you're going to do something else is the question. So I don't buy the notion that the crisis has revealed the government should get away.
2 points. Thanks for a very nice talk. First, I think there's at least one strand of the macroeconomic literature that maybe should get a little bit more credit, which is there is actually some models that seem very relevant these days on the financial business cycle propagation mechanism, where like the Kiyosaki more, and actually Ben Bernanke has been active himself in some of this literature, where you get financial shocks that you get a shock that affects real values, but real values also affect collateral, which then in turn affects the amount of borrowing you can make, which then drives prices down. What?
They are all close economy more.
Yes, but I mean there is at least a sense in that strand of the theory.
Now on that issue, I know my.
We haven't reached very far with us. That's the problem.
On a note on that issue, this collateral valuation, etc. Long ago, my late colleague Jim Tobin had developed a model where it's mortgage lending. So that you take two instruments. One is the interest rate. The other is how much you are going to require as equity. So in the two the prices of it, so to speak, a mortgage. Now that consideration, what might happen to the value of the house, came in explicitly, the risk of housing prices. So that again, these are all models, specifically either specific sector or closed economy model with ad hoc money and assumptions, etc.